Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, dear brothers and sisters in Islam. This is Imam Muhammad Al Jibali. Especially our sisters, welcome to your own halaqah that we have it on the first Sunday of every month. This is Imam Muhammad Al Jibali. So we are trying to go through the PowerPoint that inshallah will make things easy, and I will try to make them informative as much as I can. We will inshallah learn about the course outlines first and the course description. What is the time frame that we have? What is the course description? And also we should start by giving an introduction, giving an incentive, and talking about the importance of such halaqas and the fiqh for our own sisters. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our deeds sincere and to make these words that come out, inshallah, come out from the heart and touch the hearts. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make all of us, all of our sisters, all of our mothers, all of our sisters, our wives, among those who listen and follow what they listen to. The scholars mentioned that the fruits of any reminder is to act upon them. I'll try to make it, as I said, informative. Inshallah, we'll send the PowerPoint just to make it, inshallah, very easy to everyone to remember what was said. So we'll start, inshallah, by the course outline. So we'll meet on the first Sunday from every month, giving a class for 20, 30 minutes, discussing all the questions and the comments for the remaining time. So we'll meet for 30 minutes, sometimes 40 minutes, according and based on the questions that we have. And we receive the personal questions on the email, imam@makinimasjid.org. So we will answer all the questions, and some of the questions we'll use the YouTube to answer them so people will get benefit of them. But for sure, all the questions are confidential. This is something that you trust us to answer. And inshallah, we will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the knowledge and to give us the insight to answer all the questions. For sure, we have a lot of questions, and it's my job to answer all the questions. What is the course description? This is something that I'm sure that all of us want to learn about. So the course description, what are we going to study? We're going to study the things that are so essential. And it is like we are having a tree and we move from a branch to another. So for sure we need to learn about Aqidah in a very simple way. And we need to know about the fiqh of worship and fiqh of the family affairs. And also we need to know about akhlaq. So those are the four main topics that we will discuss and will shift among them. We want to learn about Aqidah, our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these things that are essential for every Muslim that we cannot go without. And for the sisters, it is very important because we receive a lot of questions from our kids. The mother, they are in need to learn about these things that are essential to them. Fiqh of worship, which is something that is related to our ibadah, whether it's for tahara, whether it's for salah, whether it's for siyam, whether it's for hajj, for these things that are essential for us. The family affairs, a lot of questions come, and this is one of the hectic issues that we receive almost every day, the akhlaq, and how to knock on the door of Jannah in an easy way. So this is the time frame, and this is the course description, inshallah, bi'idhnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once a month for 20 to 25 minutes, and then 10 or 15 minutes questions. And we have course descriptions, and this is what we have, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, the four fields of knowledge that are related to Aqidah, fiqh of worship, and family fiqh and akhlaq. Let us now, inshallah, move to, inshallah, this introduction that is an incentive for everyone to know why are we studying this course? What is the reward? What is the benefit? It's something very important. We should give the incentive first before we start directly in these materials that are so important for everyone. So why fiqh is essentials? Why should we know about the fiqh, whether it's the fiqh of usra or the fiqh of worship? And also aqidah. Why should we learn aqidah? Because many of our sisters refrain from learning matters of the deen that are essentials. We have some of the sisters, they do not have this intention. They do not give this, this much concern in their lives. And the lack of knowledge in the house leads to the disasters. because our mothers and our sisters and our wives and our daughters, they are half of our society. So now, if they do not have the knowledge, they will not provide the right answers for their kids. They will take their kids and their brothers and their husbands to the wrong way. So that's why we need the knowledgeable sisters, the knowledgeable wives, the knowledgeable mothers, the knowledgeable daughters, because they save the whole ummah if they have the knowledge. And this what happened during the Sahaba Radwanullah alayhim. From the fiqh of the female Sahaba Radwanullah alayhim, that they used to tell their husbands before they leave the house. This is their fiqh, this is their understanding. Ittaqillaha fina, fear Allah pertaining to us, because we can tolerate hunger and thirst in this dunya. فإننا نصبر على جوع وعطش الدنيا ولا نصبر على حر الآخرة. We can tolerate and resist the hunger and the thirst of the worldly life, but we cannot tolerate the heat in the fire. Imagine these words that came out from the tongues of the female companions who had a better understanding from the deen, that we need our sisters nowadays to reach this, and we don't like them to refrain from learning the deen. So it's our job to spread the word, inshallah, and to learn the basics. Seeking knowledge is not from the priorities like the women of the golden ages. These are like some of the reasons that make it not essential for many people, that we need to get back to the golden ages. So that's why we need to follow the ways of these female companions and the followers of the companions. And I'm gonna go through evidences that shows how women along the history taught the prominent scholars, that we learned from them a lot of knowledge. And nowadays, we don't have such many scholars. Yes, we have some da'is, that's good, but we need the people who have the knowledge from the females, who can, inshallah, bi'iznillah, teach their kids to be among the righteous ones and to be among the scholars. And because of the lack of knowledge, what we have disasters. We have some issues that come up every now and then, and they are related to women. So we have al-hijab al-ari. We have this hijab that is not hijab. So this is a word, the hijab on that very tight clothes. They wear the hijab while they are half sleeves. They wear the hijab, and this hijab is far from the real meaning of hijab. We have the sisters from time to time who came up and they lit salah. Why is that? Because of the lack of knowledge. We have the sisters who pray years with their nail polish, and it prevents water to go. I'm just giving examples. We have the sisters who perform the prayers, as you see, they perform the prayers in the wrong way. Those who make ghusl in the wrong way, those who make riba and they don't know that they are committing one of the major sins. Some of them, they go to the extent they deal with magic and they don't know that they are committing sins. Those who cannot read the Quran. So a lot of disasters. This is for men and women as well. But among sisters it's widespread because the priorities are different, because they refrain from learning the knowledge, because they are not imitating the golden female Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhi. Our need to fiqh, dear brothers and sisters, should exceed our need to food and our need to drink and clothing. Why is that? Because our satisfying our desire to eat and drink is not going to achieve anything. It will make us survive and live. But learning knowledge is the way that leads us to Jannah. So this is what will lead us to Jannah. So that's why we should focus on that. We should make sure that we will learn the knowledge as males and females, because it will make us among those who fear Allah Azza wa Jal, those who love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most, those who will do what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is connected to the acceptance of our worship and transactions. If we do not know the knowledge, what happens? Our worship will not be accepted. As the Prophet says, لا تقبل صلاة بغير طهور. The salah without purification will not be accepted. Yes, that's right. So the people who do not know how to make the right ghusl and how to make the right wudu, so their salah is not acceptable. Why? Because they did not fulfill the basics of the worship, transactions, riba, interest, working in many places, going out without hijab, a lot of things, dear brothers and sisters, that are we are in need to learn to save our deen and to have our ibadah accepted. And also, it is the criteria that helps us to distinguish between the halal and haram. How we know the halal and haram? Unfortunately, when it comes to the deen, we do not focus, we do not care. But if we follow the way of the righteous people, we will, inshallah, try to learn the knowledge. So at least we shouldn't be scholars, but at least we know the basic halal and the basic haram. Because one of the transgressions against ourselves, one of the dhulm against ourselves is when we deal with halal and haram in an easy way, it doesn't matter for us. When it comes to medicine, when it comes to house, when it comes to the maintenance of the house, when it comes to our job, we cannot give fatwa without the knowledge and asking the people of experience. But when it comes to the deen, unfortunately, the halal and haram doesn't mean anything. Why do you know we are in need to learn fiqh? Because it is one of the best fields of knowledge. Because we are talking about al halal haram, we are talking about the acceptance of the worship. So we are talking about something that is essential and that is important, and every sister, every wife, and every mother is in need for. The Mufti females. So, unfortunately, we don't have the Mufti females type. Here is the point. The Prophet Muhammad sallam, for a wisdom that Allah knows, he forbade women to be judges. Judges, only judges, because the nature that Allah created women in. But we have along the history muftis and muhaddith. Muhaddiths are the ones who narrate the hadith from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu and those who know about hadith methodology. So we have a lot of sisters who were muftis, because the mufti is the one who teaches the ruling without the commitment to practice it. But al-qadi is the one who practice and who tells the knowledge, and he's the one who commits the person to practice this. So what happens now, dear brothers and sisters? We should learn the knowledge, and we have along the history the muftis from the female companions, and we will inshallah talk about this in details in the coming inshallah biiznillah 5 minutes to end. So we have 22 females muftis from the companions, and Aisha comes on the head. And we have the mothers of the believers. We have Atika bint Zayd ibn Amr. We have, please write down inshallah biiznillah. We have Atika bint Zayd ibn Amr. We have Sahla bint Suhayl. We have Ayman. We have Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have Darda, the elder, because Darda al-Sughra also is one of the scholars, but she is from Tabi'in, but and she left most of the time among the Tabi'in. So we have Darda al-Kubra, she's from among the Sahaba Radwanullah alayhim. The students of Aisha, we have Amra bint Abdurrahman, we have Safiya bint Shayba, and we have Darda, but the younger one, Darda al-Sughra. She is a student of Aisha radiallahu anha. So she lived most of her life after the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she learned from Aisha, so she can be among at-tabi'un. But Darda al-Kubra was one of the scholars, but she is from the Sahaba radwanullah alayhim. She is the wife of Abu Darda. Abu Darda has two wives. After the first wife, Darda al-Kubra, passed away, he married to Darda al-Sughra, and both of them are scholars. So Aisha radiallahu anha had students, and Aisha radiallahu anha, she was among the best and the prominent seven Sahaba radwanullah alayhim, that we talk from her a lot of hadith, and we learn from her a lot of rulings. And Aisha radiallahu anha was so knowledgeable, and we learned from her a lot of things that took place in the house of the Prophet Muhammad sallam that nobody else could tell. So this shows us that the time during the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallam and after the death of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had some of the Sahaba Radwan alayhim who narrated hadith from the Prophet sallam and who give fatwa, and Aisha comes on the lead. And then we will go to the history inshallah after that. So we have the seven prominent jurists of the followers of the Sahaba Radwan. So now we'll move from from the Sahaba to At-Tabi'un. So we have seven prominent scholars, and they are known as Al-Fuqaha al-Sab'a. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyab, Urwa ibn Dubayr, and Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr. So Sa'id ibn Musayyab learned from Aisha radiallahu anha the ilm. So he's among the most prominent scholars, and he gained most of the knowledge from Aisha radiallahu anha. Urwa ibn Zubayr, he's the son of Zubayr al-Awam, Zubayr ibn al-Awam, and he is the son of Asma bint Abi Bakr. So he learned the knowledge from his mother, Al-Qasim ibn Muhammad, so Ibn Abi Bakr. So also his aunt was Aisha, and he learned it from her. So those are some of the most knowledgeable companions, most knowledgeable scholars during the time of At-Tabi'un, the followers of the Sahaba. And these three, they learned a lot of knowledge from Aisha and Asma radiallahu anha. Now, we'll move forward, inshallah, bi'ithnillah, to the second century and Imam Malik. So Imam Malik, in the second Hijri century, gained knowledge from Aisha the younger. Aisha the younger is the daughter of Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas. So she was knowledgeable, and Malik radiallahu an, Imam Malik, the famous one and the famous scholar and the famous founder for the Malik school, he learned from her. Ibn Hazm in the 5th Hijri, the one who has Al-Madhhab al-Zahiri, in the 5th Hijri century, he gained knowledge from the females, and Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi also at the same time. Ibn Hazm, he learned the Quran, he learned poetry. So he learned a lot of things from women, and the same for Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, who lives also in the 5th Hijri century. Ibn Asakir in the 6th Hijri century mentioned the biography of 8 scholars from women, some of them in fiqh, some of them mostly in the hadith, as I said, those who cared for hadith methodology. Najm al-Din ibn Fahd in the 9th Hijri century gained knowledge from around 130 women. Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, the one who explained Sahih al-Bukhari, mentioned 170 women in the 10th Hijri century. And the list goes on. In Asham, they had a lot of scholars. And Sham means Palestine, Jordan, uh, and Lebanon. This area, they had a lot of scholars along women. And Zuhri in the second Hijri year, he said that some scholars of hadith, some people of hadith, they didn't learn, they didn't write from them. They abandoned them. They says because they have a bad memory, because they had bad manners, we do not accept from them. This is what we call ilm al-jarh wa al-ta'dil. So Al-Zuhri said that many people, we do not accept the narration of the hadith from them because of their memory or because of their bad akhlaq, and sometimes because of their weak memory. But he said that we do not have this among women. All the women that we narrated hadith from them, they had good manners and they had good akhlaq and they had sharp memory, and they narrated hadith perfectly from the Sahaba or from the followers of the Sahaba. So those are our scholars along the history, our muftis, our muhaddis from the sisters. So inshallah, we need to learn. Again, we will learn the basics. We are not going to go in the depth. We will learn the basics, inshallah. Please help us, inshallah, bismillah, to we meet once a month, inshallah. So we will try to learn what is essential concerning the knowledge, what will make, inshallah, our sisters run their houses and try to protect their houses and their fortresses from the enemies through the ilm. Ilm is the way to protect ourselves, inshallah. So we want to meet, inshallah, once every, inshallah, month for 30 minutes or less. We will try to, as I said, tackle things that are so essential, related to aqidah, related to the fiqh of worship, related to the fiqh of the family, and related to akhlaq. So we will shift among those fields that are so essential. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our sisters al-Jannah ya Rabbil Alameen. Please ask your questions. We will answer them through the email or through, inshallah, the YouTube channel, to make sure that we will have right answers that people will get benefit of it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to the best. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who follow the knowledge and follow what they listen to. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the golden aged women that Aisha said about them, نعم النساء نساء الأنصار لم يمنحن الحياء من التفقه في الدين. Aisha said about the golden ages and about the women during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallam from Al-Ansar. The best women are the women of Al-Ansar. The best women are the women of Al-Ansar. Shyness did not prevent them from learning the deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who learn the right deen and learn the knowledge and practice the knowledge that they learn. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.